And CTV's Jeremie Charron joins me now from Ottawa to talk more about this. Jeremie, what will this bill entail?
Yeah, Roger, this is highly anticipated legislation the government has been talking about for some time now. That bill is on the House of Commons notice paper, which means it could be tabled as early as today and is expected to be tabled today. This is a campaign promise that the Carney government made, promising to eliminate trade barriers by July 1st. Federal trade barriers that exist to interprovincial trade. That was the campaign promise that Mark Carney made. His platform only promises to table legislation by July 1st. So there's a lot of talk about, which promise will be met, but it is expected that that legislation will be tabled today. And of course, that is the federal government's role in eliminating interprovincial trade barriers. The Prime Minister has been meeting with premiers. We know that they met on Monday to discuss large infrastructure projects, but much of the conversation has also been about eliminating interprovincial trade barriers that do exist. And the federal government plays a role in that, as do the provinces. And we've seen some provinces already table some legislation like this. Ontario, Quebec have tabled similar legislation to eliminate all the barriers that do exist to interprovincial trade in their provinces. This is the federal government doing its part, and this is the first step in the process to get there, Roger. So we'll know the details of this bill a little later on today when it is tabled in the House of Commons. And then the big question will be whether or not the government is able to get this legislation through and have it become law prior to the summer break. There's about two weeks left in this parliamentary sitting, and whether or not they get cooperation from opposition parties will be the big question. Because if they can get unanimous, approval for this bill, unanimous support for this bill in the House of Commons, that would help their odds big time to try and get this through to the Senate and then eventually have it become law in the 2 weeks that remain prior to the summer break. So that'll be the next big question.
And do we know what kind of an impact this could have on the Canada-U.S. trade and the talks as well?
Yeah, I mean, this is a key part and a key element to Canada's plan to diversify its markets and to bolster its internal trade in an effort to make our economy less reliant on the U.S. So in terms of impact on negotiations with the U.S. itself, I'm not sure that there's much of an impact there. This is more about Canada ensuring that it is less reliant on the U.S. And this has been, agreed at the federal level and across provinces that this is a step that needs to be taken in order to do that. There's been a lot of talk about what kind of an impact this could have on the Canadian economy. Some estimates say it could be upwards of $200 billion in terms of a positive impact on the Canadian economy. That is with all provincial and federal barriers being eliminated and free trade happening in this country like we've never seen before. But of course, hard to say exactly what kind of an impact it would have, but certainly there is unanimous consent, unanimous agreement across the board. This will be a good thing for Canada's economy, and it will absolutely help this country be less reliant on other markets, period, not just the U.S., but it will allow for trade within our country to help our economy a lot more than it does right now.
Okay, Jeremie, thank you for that update.